Good afternoon. I'm Victor Johnson, a career facilitator with Goodwill Columbus, and thank you for joining me today. We're talking more about resumes, and we've been talking about resumes and basically helping with resumes all week. Today, I'd like to talk about the summary statement. And the summary statement is one of those things that sometimes you feel like it's not necessary for your resume, and it's not something that you have to put on your resume, but you want the person who's reading your resume to be interested. You want them to keep reading. You want to draw them in. So a good way to do that is with the summary statement. So with that, let me start. And let me start by saying, once again, some of the things I'm going to show you are from our partnership, Goodwill's partnership with Indeed. And if you go to the Indeed Goodwill partnership page today, you will see an advertisement showing you that you can get help with your resume and how to sign up for it. Excuse me. Okay, so the Indeed website, and Indeed as a company, they are the #1 job site in the world. They have 3 million companies that use Indeed to hire, and 20 million job listings. And this is all over the world. So whether you want a job in Columbus or you're thinking about moving to Kalispell, Montana, then this is the job site for you. Now, if you are going to use the Indeed website, just want to let you know, when you come to this landing page, the Goodwill partnership landing page with Indeed, what's going to happen is you're going to see that login up at the top. And if you do not have an account, on the next page where you would sign in, look towards the bottom and you'll see the first option after the sign in is if you don't have an account, you can create one. Okay. Now we're talking about elements of a resume, and specifically we're talking about the summary. Now, the summary is a concise statement of who you are and what you do. Now, how are you going to tell that? With words. And the thing is, how are you going to pick the words to tell about yourself, to talk about your experience, to talk about your passion, to talk about things that you've done in the past? Now, once again, in the experience section, work experience section, you're going to be writing bullets, but the summary is going to be 2 to 3 sentences that will explain who you are, what you do. Now, when you're presenting your experience, and I kept this slide because when you're doing your work experience, you should remember these things. But when you're doing your summary, you should also remember these things. Avoid overused phrases or words. Don't repeat the same word over and over again. And remember that things like go-getter or self-starter, they don't mean anything unless you back them up with an example. Because I'd be willing to bet if 100 people apply for the same job, that close to 100 people will say they are a hard worker, or they're a self-starter, or they're a people person. These are the phrases that kind of have become cliche and they get used a lot. But here's the thing. Back it up with something that you've done to show that I'm a people person, because at my last job, I got to know everyone. I got to learn, their workstations, and I got to understand how they did their jobs. And I was able to communicate with them on a much better plane. And I think that would make me a good leader. See, that's more than just saying I'm a people person. So remember, don't overuse the phrases. Show your soft skills. Take the time to proofread. Include prior role levels that show growth, okay? And use action verbs. So we're going to talk a little about using language in just a minute. But here's an example of a summary statement for a resume. Dedicated warehouse worker with 7 years experience in the shipping department. Responsibilities included customer service, picking and preparing items for shipment, assisting and receiving shipments, and maintaining a clean work environment. Now, if I'm an employer and I'm looking for someone to work in my warehouse, and I've got a couple hundred resumes to go through, and I see this summary statement, I'm going to keep reading this resume because this summary statement tells me this is a person I'm looking for, that they have 7 years experience, that they have experience with customer service, picking and preparing items for shipment, maintaining a clean work environment. So that alone is going to, if I'm looking for someone for warehouse, that alone is going to drive me to want to read more of the resume. Let's look at this second one. High energy, bilingual nursing student seeking to develop more extensive experience working with elderly patients. Proven leadership capabilities, likes to take initiative and seek out new challenges. Now, I can tell you, if I'm looking for a nurse or an STNA, I'm going to tell you, if I see bilingual, I'm automatically going to start looking through that resume. I want to see what the other language is that she speaks. And I'm sorry, I just did one of those unconscious bias things. He or she speaks, okay? But bilingual nursing students seeking to develop more extensive experience working with elderly patients. So now I know this is a person looking forward to working with elderly patients, okay? Now, I learned these things from these words, just a couple of sentences, but they are sentences that intrigue me, that give me enough information that tells me I want to keep reading this resume to find out more. So what goes into a good summary statement? What makes a good summary statement? Remember, it's 2 or 3 concise sentences. Each sentence should contain a combination of an indication of your experience, knowledge, and training or education. Information about your skills, abilities, and talents. Words that convey your character, quality, or commitment in regards to the workplace. Now, how do you do that? Experience. So you're talking about your experience, your knowledge, your training and education. What did you do before? Okay, let's say you were in customer service, all right? If you have 7 years of customer service, you can call yourself a customer service professional. If you have 1 year experience in customer service, you're a customer service professional. There's your experience and your knowledge. What about your skills, your abilities, and your talents? Let's go back to customer service. What do you need for customer service? What's a skill you need? Communication. So you're going to include something about communication. And then character, quality or commitment. What are we talking about? Well, you want to let the person know, the person that's reading this know, things like, are you dependable? Are you creative? Are you a team player? Have you ever done any leadership? Those are kind of things they're looking for. So let me show you an example here. I used this example this morning when we were talking about writing an effective resume. So here we go. Dedicated child advocate. Now, dedicated. So right there, that's a quality. That's a characteristic that you have. Dedicated child advocate. If you're a child advocate, then you've been working as a child advocate, which means you have experience, okay? With a focus, now how do you get focus on something? It says focus on the unique needs of children with disabilities. How do you gain that kind of focus? Well, it's a skill that you develop over time, okay? So focus on the unique needs of children with disabilities. Flexible, that's a skill you develop. And accommodating, now some people might say that's a skill you develop, but I know people who are flexible, but they're not accommodating, okay? Accommodating goes to your personality and your character. And then if you're a professional, what does that mean? You have experience. Who implements, in order to implement something, you have to have known how to implement something before. So there's a skill again, okay? Creative, there's another skill that you work on. Hands-on lessons that align with IEP goals. How did you align things with IEP goals? Well, you have to know how to do that. So there we go with experience again. And I forgot to say that being creative is also a characteristic or a quality that you have. Okay, so possessing strong communication skills. All that is about your skill. To develop, once again, you have to have experience to develop something. Excellent, there's your characteristic. Rapport, a skill. Building rapport with people is a skill. Being excellent at it is part of your character, part of your quality. And there we go. To develop excellent rapport with family members, colleagues, and the community. So just remember 2 or 3 concise sentences, an indication of your experience, knowledge, training, and education, information about your skills, abilities, and talents, and words that convey your character, quality, or commitment in regards to the workplace. The one thing I didn't talk about was commitment, because some people would put something like passionate, passionate educator, passionate customer service specialist, okay? That's how you convey things. That's how you get people interested. So we will probably do more on different parts of the resume and go into a little more depth about how you can improve those parts. Once again, I would like for you to visit the Indeed Goodwill Partner website, where you can find out about our resume assistance that we have now, free resume assistance. And let me show you again at the bottom. You could go directly to this link on the screen. You can go directly to that link so that you can schedule an individualized session with a resume expert today. And this is a free service that Goodwill is providing. So whether you finished your resume and you want someone to look at it, or you're building your resume and you want some help with it, contact us, follow this link, or contact us at the Indeed, or go to the Indeed Goodwill Partner webpage, and you will be able to take care of some of these things and get the help that you need with your resume. So thank you for watching this afternoon. I hope that everything is going well for you, and that you will at some time be able to take advantage of the free services that we're providing to help you with your resume and your job seeking skills. So once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.